Because of the enormity of Metro Manila and the city, and given the time frame of the project, we cannot determine and describe all buildings in Metro Manila. So we use the area-based approach. Statistically, we divide the different areas into specific land uses, and then per land use, we give out or develop statistics. However, we want to encourage the local governments that with your help, we can describe all buildings and all infrastructure in your area. We call it the feature-based approach, but it will take time. But as long as you do it regularly, that time will be very short. The area-based approach has been adopted for the first generation exposure for this project. In that exposure, together with the Institute of Civil Engineers from the University of the Philippines, we also developed the building types and the year of construction of these different buildings, which are very important in earthquake risk analysis. The next component for FIVOX is the actual earthquake modeling and its impact. The first thing that we did is to really practice our trade, that is fault finding. What we did was to dig trenches across faults and find out how many events can we detect along these faults. We are like the crime scene investigator, where we try to evaluate the old killer earthquakes which we did not witness at all. So in the northern segment, in Barangay Silangan in Quezon City, we found out 3 surface rupturing events. These were guided by the use of LiDAR dataset provided by OSA. In the southern segment, we found at least 3 to 5 rupturing events, meaning that this fault is really that active. Now, we also modeled if the fault will move, what will be the ground shaking? And we used 2 scenarios. First is the magnitude 7.2 scenario, shown to the left, and the second is the magnitude 6.5 scenario, shown to the right. The magnitude 7.2 earthquake, with an epicenter shown there as star, will cause intensity 8 shaking in Metro Manila and surrounding towns of Rizal, Bulacan, Laguna, and Cavite. Shown in brown would be the high intensity 8 and yellow, low intensity 8. For those of you who have not felt an intensity 8 earthquake yet, like me, what will happen is that during the shaking, you will not be able to stand. And things will fall down, and there might be damages in several buildings. What happened in Bohol is, in most part, like Cebu and Tagbilaran, is intensity 7. People were not able to stand. People had difficulty standing, things fell, but they're still okay. Many buildings in Tagbilaran are okay. But ours is intensity 8. If, on the other hand, the shaking is caused by a magnitude 6.5 earthquake, you would see that the brown and yellow areas will be smaller, meaning that the impact of the severe shaking will be smaller because of the smaller energy. But still, you can still find out the big part of Metro Manila and surrounding towns are still in intensity 8. So let us not say that we only expect a 7.2. It might be smaller, but it can cause, later on I will show, severe damage. Okay? But if we prepare for the bigger one, then I would assume, and you would agree, that we are prepared for the smaller one. So what are the impacts? Again, to the left would be the 7.2 scenario, to the right would be the 6.5 scenario. First, we have maps showing the total floor area damage state per barangay for all the municipalities. The darker the color, the higher number of floor areas that are damaged. And therefore, people there will have more probability of being affected also. In terms of fatalities per barangay, you would see that in the magnitude 7.2 earthquake, there are darker spots compared to the 6.5, but since everything is colored, there are still some casualties in all these yellow-colored areas. A big difference in this study compared to past studies is that we now have estimated the economic loss per barangay by estimating the actual replacement cost of the buildings that might be damaged per floor area. Again, the brighter the color, the more cost for these different villages. Okay? In summary, these are the following information that we need to look at very carefully. In terms of total floor area and collapse damage, like 11 million square meters for magnitude 7.2, 8 million for 6.5. Not much difference. Total floor area and complete damage, meaning it did not collapse but the building is useless, 89 million. Now for slight damage, 44 million. Okay?